Lauren. In this video, we'll be checking a scenario where Sweden forms an empire in the modern day world. Now, for the scenario to be impossible, we will need to deactivate NATO and other major alliances that could hinder Sweden in their conquest. We would also need to give Sweden a big boost, give them more population and stronger army and better economy so they can make this empire. But anyways, let's get into the video. So the first nation Sweden will invade will be none other than Denmark. But this is to get control over the Danish Strait. This is a big trading route, I think, as it's basically Finland needs to use it, these guys need to use it. So if Sweden can get it under their control, it will be a lot easier for them to get a stronger economy and get rich. But we see Denmark surrender in a couple of hours. Let's check out this peace treaty. So in this peace treaty, we see Sweden take these islands and make the rest of Denmark into a puppet state. Now, their next target will be none other than Norway. This is to get like bunch of oil and other good stuff, I guess. So we'll be seeing Swedish soldiers being crossing over the border, capturing Oslo in a couple of days. Now this was a surprise invasion, so Norway wasn't expecting this. So Sweden will just cross over these mountainous areas and take them over for themselves. As we see, this main force take control of all major population areas in Norway quick, and we see Norway capitulate. And this peace treaty looks something like this, where we see Sweden take all of these areas and these islands and make the rest into a puppet state. And now they're starting to get big, and the nations starting to notice that they're expanding really fast. One of those nations will be Finland, so we'll be seeing them make an alliance with none other than Estonia. But this alliance will not be enough to deter Sweden from invading them, so we'll be seeing Sweden declare war on this alliance. And we see them send soldiers down here and take these islands really fast and make a landing on mainland Estonia and start pushing. But they weren't expecting Finland to fight back, as we see Finnish soldiers cross the border into mainland Sweden and push kinda deep in. We'll see them move up into the mountains up here in the north, taking oil and other stuff that's up here. And this hurts the Swedish economy. As we see that, it's not looking too good, but it's starting to look good as they just made this guy surrender. So we see a bunch of soldiers run back to the mainland, and now Finland has messed up as we see a bunch of soldiers push back, and we see them do something like that. These guys get pushed back to the border, this guy just die, and then Swedish soldiers fly through the border. But Finland makes the good decision to just surrender early on, wishing to survive. But now let's take a look at this peace treaty. And in this peace treaty we see Sweden take all of this land, full annexing Estonia and not sparing Finland and making them this peace. And we'll actually see another nation go in and just, do I have to explain? Anyways, looking away from here, we'll be seeing Sweden do another thing, and that will be the invasion of Greenland. Now, Greenland is a huge nation, but it's not the strongest nation, as we see Swedish soldiers land over here and just move around the coast. It's really no point of moving deep into the nation, as all population is around these areas. We see another landing being made here, and another one in this area, just to push in a little bit deeper, you know, just because why not? But eventually we see Norway. But eventually we see that Greenland surrenders, and in this peace treaty they get fully annexed. And the Swedish Empire has now been officially formed, but it's not done growing yet, as they seek some more land, and that land is controlled by none other than Russia. So Sweden, alongside some other people that will be joining them in this war, and the really only one who will join them in this war will be Ukraine. But yeah, Ukraine, it's a good ally. Sweden has a bad feeling about this war, and oh yeah, right. Sweden doesn't care, as they are the Swedish Empire, so they will be sending their soldiers through the border. These soldiers are mostly Norwegian, Danish, and Finnish soldiers, and Greenlandians. I don't know what a Greenlandian is, but I guess that's a thing now. But we'll be seeing Swedish army soldiers being pushed through, capturing all of this area, and just storming down. Their main target is St. Petersburg, that they will capture before securing the border with Estonia as well. Taking this, and we see that the reason Sweden is doing so good is because yeah, Ukraine is completely gone now. Not some good ally after all, Sweden. But now we'll be seeing the full Russian army push back against the Swedish army, and yeah, it's not looking too good, but Sweden managed to hold back in the south, right there. But we see Russian soldiers manage to get back this peninsula, and we see this war kinda stalemate. Not fully stalemated, we see Russian soldiers entering to the Estonian land and just take them over, but the Russians did not manage to capture these islands. What we do see is the Russians send out a naval force and capture this island, and we just see stalemate happen after this. We see some changes on the front line, but not big front changes, I guess. Just a couple of changes there and there. Mostly Sweden successes happening. But then we also, of course, see big Russian offensives happen that really hurt the Swedish morale. But eventually we see Russia regain full control of this thing and capture all of that. And the Swedish Empire now wants to start thinking of maybe wanting a peace deal, as the Russians are starting to push back, as the Swedish army's morale is starting to fade. And yeah, Sweden don't really know what they're supposed to do. And now these two islands fall over, and Russian landing in South Sweden happens. They capture this island, and oh, your islands are gone. They have made a landing in Denmark. Yeah, Sweden will white peace with, or I don't know if this is white peace, but they will try to settle down for peace talks, and yeah, let's see how this peace treaty turns out. And this peace treaty looks something like this. We see Sweden basically trade Estonia and your friend Ukraine to get most of the Finnish land. And yeah, I guess you could say this is the Swedish Empire now. I guess in the future we could see them invade Iceland. Maybe maybe another war against the Russians in the future. Possibly end war with the UK as in the North Sea over here. Maybe they'll, I don't know, do another Baltic campaign. Maybe invade the Germans to get more of these coastlines. Yeah, there's a bunch of things the Swedish Empire can do at this point. But this is where I'm going to end the video. But anyways, that will be all for this video. Bye bye.